I've never created a book, and this book certainly isn't created from my own experience, you know, with a view to talking about my own life. That doesn't mean, of course, that your own life experience isn't in the book. You know, with this book, I'd been planning this book for so long, and then a couple of the things that happen in this book have since happened to me. And so I would like to be very clear that I haven't written this book as an answer to anything that happened to me. Although I have to say, when it did happen to me, those who had already read the book in manuscript form were, "Are you clairvoyant?" No, I wasn't clairvoyant. It was just one of those weird twists. Sometimes life imitates art more than one would like. But no, it's not, this isn't about my experience as being a creator. My experience, if I wrote about my experience as a creator, it would look very different. And I have to say, for example, which I think will be a question readers would ask, the Potter fandom, by and large, has been amazing to me, incredibly supportive, and I still receive tons of love from the Potter fandom. So the fandom in this book is very much not a portrait of the fandom. It's of I think, a very different kind of fandom. So I think sickness is probably the overarching theme of the whole book, in many different ways. Sickness in lots of different senses. On the most prosaic level, Strike in this book really does reach a kind of reckoning with his own body. You know, he's a disabled man, he's an amputee, and he hasn't been looking after himself, and he eats fast food, and he's overweight, and he knows this, and he makes vague resolutions, and we've seen this throughout the series, and he never keeps any of them. And in this book, he really does sort of hit a brick wall. I cannot continue doing this job unless I make some changes. So that's very important to the book, and it's important to the plot that Strike at times is incapacitated. But there's sickness in lots of other different senses. Spoonie culture, which is almost where people's identity really becomes enmeshed with their illnesses, mental or physical. And then there's anomie, which in itself is a kind of malaise, a kind of societal sickness where people feel very disconnected, isolated, and don't feel connected to social norms or ethical norms, which we would see in the internet. I mean, not all of the internet, of course, because people can make beautiful friendships online, and it can be a very, I think, positive space. But I think it's also undeniable that in the virtual world, you do see the consequences of people feeling alienated and isolated and finding less healthy ways of dealing with that.